2026, the biggest threat to a marriage isn't infidelity. It's a floral budget.
Oh, absolutely.
Usually when you go out to dinner with friends, figuring out the bill is just this really straightforward math problem. Like,
Right.
you had the steak, I had the salad, we split the
Right,
appetizers.
the stakes are incredibly low. You are essentially just paying for the calories you actually consume.
Exactly. The data is just right there on the receipt, the social contract is clear, and nobody leaves angry. But
Yeah.
then you scale that exact same concept up to a wedding.
And it completely falls apart.
It totally falls apart. Suddenly, that simple dinner bill mutates into this massive, emotionally radioactive spreadsheet.
Oh, I've seen it.
You have people silently fuming over the price of a napkin ring
Mm-hmm.
or, making passive-aggressive comments about the catering.
Yeah.
And there's this terrifying standoff when the final invoice arrives because nobody actually knows whose job it is to reach for their wallet anymore.
Yeah, the old rules are just gone.
Which is why we're here. Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we are unpacking a single, really fascinating source document titled Modern.Docs.
It's such a great read.
It really is. It's a comprehensive 2026 wedding cost guide from a digital planning platform called Weddizer. And our mission today is to figure out how the incredibly delicate etiquette of, who pays for what has radically shifted.
Right, because it really has.
We are tearing down the strict old world traditions and looking at the actual modern economics of getting married.
Which honestly makes this so much more than a conversation about tool and cake. I mean, weddings are arguably the largest single financial transaction a family will ever undertake together.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So what this Weddizer data actually provides is this real-time case study in how modern financial independence is actively rewriting age-old social contracts.
So for you listening, whether you are actively planning a wedding right now or, you were just dreading an upcoming conversation about money with your extended family.
Or maybe you're just fascinated by how cultural shifts impact our wallets.
Right. Either way, this deep dive is your shortcut. We are going to give you the playbook for understanding the modern financial dynamics of family and relationships.
But to really appreciate the scale of the shift we are seeing in 2026, we kind of have to establish the baseline first, right?
Oh, definitely.
We have to look at the sheer weight of what wedding finances used to be.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because looking at the historical rules outlined in this data, it is intense.
It's a lot.
The traditional wedding budget was like a highly choreographed, really rigid, historic dance where everyone had a very specific, non-negotiable step. Like if we look back a generation or two, the bride's family was essentially hit with a financial anvil.
A massive one, yeah.
They were traditionally responsible for almost everything of substance. The venue, the catering, the photography, the florals, the dress.
Basically the entire event.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the groom's family handled this much smaller secondary list,
Yeah.
like the rehearsal dinner and the alcohol.
Right, and maybe the efficient fee.
Yeah, exactly. And the couple themselves basically just bought the engagement ring and, I don't know, maybe some personalized wedding favors.
Well, that historical division of wealth transfer didn't just happen by accident. Like, if we look at the sociology behind it, couples were historically marrying much younger.
Right, like early 20s.
Exactly. Early 20s, often moving directly from their childhood bedrooms into a shared marital home. So they hadn't been in the workforce long enough to establish any significant financial independence at all.
That makes total sense. They just didn't have the cash.
Right. So the wedding was fundamentally the parents launching their children into adulthood. It was basically a societal requirement that the older generation foot the bill because the younger generation simply didn't have the capital.
Which brings us to the present day. Because reading through the realities of the 2026 landscape in this Weddizer doc, those traditional rules aren't just crumbling, they are practically extinct.
Oh, absolutely. They don't apply anymore.
Right, because if couples are marrying later, say late 20s or well into their 30s,
Yeah.
they already have careers, they have 401ks, they probably already live together, and they, might even own property.
Yeah, they're fully established adults.
So I would imagine that with that kind of capital, they are completely cutting their parents out of the equation just to avoid the drama. Like, are we seeing a massive rise in 100% couple-funded weddings?
You would think so, right? But the data actually shows something far more nuanced.
No, really.
Yeah, couples are paying a much larger share than ever before, but families are still heavily involved. The difference is the structure of that involvement.
Okay, what do you mean by the structure?
Well, the idea of the bride's family taking on, like 80% of the financial burden is totally gone because it directly contradicts modern cultural values of parity.
Gotcha.
Instead, families now actively prefer equal contributions.
Which introduces this concept of purchasing autonomy. The Weddizer data highlights that modern couples are taking on significant financial responsibility specifically to prioritize what matters to them and to, like, block family pressure.
Right, exactly.
Because historically, the person writing the check controlled the event.
Absolutely. The golden rule used to be he who pays the piper calls the tune.
Okay.
I mean, if the bride's